The unseen divide. Why Generation X is overlooked. Generation X stands in the shadows, ignored and underestimated. While millennials and Gen Z bask in the spotlight, Gen X is the forgotten middle child, trapped between two cultural giants. This isn't just a narrative oversight, it's a psychological fracture. The mainstream celebrates youth, yet dismisses the grit and resilience of a generation that thrived in chaos. They navigate a world that demands relevance while erasing their contributions. The pressure mounts. They're not just overlooked, they're rendered invisible. As nostalgia floods the media, Gen Xers grapple with their identity, questioning their place in a society that has moved on without them. The implications are dire. This neglect breeds resentment and isolation, pushing them further into the margins. Will they rise to reclaim their voice, or will they fade into obscurity? The future looms, and the choice is stark. Acknowledge their existence or let them slip away entirely. The silent majority, voices that go unheard. Generation X stands in the shadows, overlooked and dismissed. Society celebrates the loud, the flashy, the viral. But what about those who exist in the cracks, the ones who feel invisible, their stories untold? This emotional isolation festers, a silent epidemic. They watch as their experiences are erased from popular culture, replaced by the narratives of louder generations. The pressure builds. They grapple with a haunting question: do they even matter? The weight of being ignored is suffocating. It gnaws at their identity, forcing them to confront a painful truth: being unseen is a choice made by others, not themselves. As the world moves on, the threat looms larger. Will they remain mere footnotes in someone else's story? Or will they rise, reclaiming their voices, even if it means facing the discomfort of being unheard? The choice is theirs, but the clock is ticking. Coping mechanisms, the resilience of Generation X. Generation X thrives on survival. They've been molded by chaos, shaped by the relentless grind of societal expectations. They wear their scars like badges, but beneath that tough exterior lies a suffocating pressure. The world demands resilience, yet the weight of personal struggles festers in silence. They juggle the facade of adaptability while crumbling inside. Each day is a battle against the gnawing feeling of inadequacy. They've learned to cope, but at what cost? The strategies they employ are mere band-aids on festering wounds, masking deeper issues that threaten to unravel their very identity. As they navigate this treacherous landscape, the question looms: how long can they maintain this charade? The illusion of resilience is fragile, and the cracks are beginning to show. The future is not just uncertain, it's a looming specter, ready to expose the truth behind their carefully constructed lives. Cultural amnesia, forgotten contributions. Generation 10 is the ghost haunting the cultural landscape. Their contributions are buried under the weight of louder narratives. They created the grunge movement, birthed independent cinema, and pioneered digital communication. Yet, they remain invisible, overshadowed by the glitz of millennials and the nostalgia of boomers. This erasure breeds resentment. The struggle for recognition festers, amplifying a sense of isolation. They are the forgotten architects of modern culture, yet they are dismissed as cynical and apathetic. This narrative strips them of their identity, turning their innovations into mere footnotes in history. As the world moves forward, the danger looms larger. If Generation X continues to be overlooked, their legacy will vanish entirely. What happens when the voices of a generation are silenced? The implications are chilling. The cultural amnesia will deepen, leaving a void that no one can fill. The question remains: will you acknowledge the shadows, or will you let them fade into oblivion? The burden of labels. Generation X stands at a crossroads, shackled by expectations. Society paints a picture of apathy and disconnection, but beneath that surface lies a desperate struggle for identity. The pressure to conform suffocates individuality, forcing many to wear masks that don't fit. As the world spins faster, the conflict deepens. The desire to break free clashes with the weight of generational stereotypes. Each day becomes a battle against the narrative that defines them, a relentless reminder of what they should be. The fear of rejection looms large, amplifying the internal chaos. What happens when the mask slips? The threat of being seen as a failure, a disappointment, becomes ever more real. The question lingers, will you embrace the identity forced upon you, or will you fight against it, knowing the consequences could be devastating? The choice is yours, but the stakes are rising. Digital natives or digital refugees? Generation X stands at a crossroads, caught between the analog past and a digital future. They navigate a world where technology is both a lifeline and a trap. Some embrace it, thriving in the chaos of constant connectivity. Others recoil, haunted by the invasive nature of screens and the loss of genuine interaction. This internal conflict breeds resentment and confusion. As they watch younger generations seamlessly adapt, a gnawing fear emerges. Are they becoming obsolete? The pressure mounts. They grapple with the reality that their identity is tied to a fading era, while the digital landscape evolves at breakneck speed. The allure of technology tempts them, yet the shadows of their past loom large. The question remains, will they surrender to the digital tide or cling to their roots? The choice feels increasingly dire, and the consequences of inaction grow more ominous. The future is unforgiving, and the divide only widens. The dark side of Generation X? Generation X is drowning in a sea of obligation. They carry the weight of their children's futures while simultaneously grappling with the decline of their own parents. This isn't just a burden, it's a relentless cycle of sacrifice. Each day, they wake up to the demands of two generations, suffocating under the pressure of expectations. As they juggle school runs and hospital visits, their own dreams fade into the background. The conflict is palpable: self-care versus familial duty. The guilt festers, gnawing at their insides. They're expected to be the glue, yet they feel like shattered glass. But what happens when the glass breaks? The cracks widen and the chaos spills over. They're not just losing themselves, they're losing their grip on reality. The future looms closer, a dark abyss of burnout and resentment. The question isn't if they'll break, but when. Generation X stands at a precipice, teetering on the edge of their own existence. Are they the saviors or the sacrificed? Crisis of belonging, the search for community? Generation X stands at the precipice of disconnection. They crave community but feel the weight of isolation pressing down. This isn't just a feeling, it's a reality. The world fragments around them, splintering into digital echoes and superficial interactions. Each day, the desire for genuine connection intensifies, yet the barriers grow higher. They scroll through curated lives, watching others bond while they remain invisible. The tension mounts. Are they simply relics of a bygone era, or do they hold the key to authentic relationships? The struggle deepens as they confront their own inadequacies, questioning their place in a society that seems to have moved on. The future looms ominously. Will they continue to drift, lost in the noise, or will they confront the uncomfortable truth of their solitude? The choice is theirs, but the clock is ticking. The question remains, how long can they endure this isolation before it consumes them? Reclaiming the narrative, the weight of silence. Silence suffocates the truth. Generation X stands at the edge, trapped in a narrative crafted by others. Their stories buried beneath layers of expectation, overshadowed by louder voices. The struggle to reclaim agency intensifies. Each unspoken experience festers a wound that refuses to heal. As the world rushes to define them, they grapple with an identity forged in isolation. The pressure mounts. Every attempt to share feels like a betrayal of the self. What happens when your truth is dismissed, when your voice is drowned out? The fear of being unheard looms large, a specter that haunts every conversation. The stakes rise as the silence becomes a prison. The implication is clear: without reclaiming their narrative, they risk becoming mere shadows in a story that isn't theirs. The question lingers: will they continue to be defined by others, or will they dare to break the silence? The choice is theirs, but the clock is ticking. The dark side of Generation X. Generation X is a ghost, haunting the present. They stand between two worlds, caught in a relentless cycle of disillusionment and apathy. They were promised freedom but delivered chaos. Their rebellion birthed a culture of cynicism where every ideal is tainted by irony. This isn't just nostalgia, It's a festering wound. As they watch younger generations chase dreams, Gen X feels the weight of their own failures. They question their worth, their relevance. The disconnect is palpable. The youth thrive on hope, while Gen X clings to the remnants of a broken past. This chasm widens, breeding resentment and isolation. What happens when the torch is passed to those who don't understand the darkness? The future looms, a stark reminder that the legacy of disillusionment continues. Generation X is not just a relic, they are a warning. Their struggle is a reflection of what lies ahead for all. Will you confront this reality, or will you turn away?